sorry, I just forgot I recorded. We're going to focus on that ball of light, that beautiful ball of light. And once that ball of light is activated and you can really feel that and you can see that, I want you to imagine that that ball of light is starting to move up through your throat chakra, through your third eye, and out through the top of your head. And I want you to visualize that beautiful ball of light shooting up into the atmosphere as high as it can go. You're going to go through some dark light and some white light and some dark light and some white light. You're going to move through all the colors of the rainbow, so pinks and greens and blue. We want to keep moving through blue because that's the law of magnetism, through deep purple. And then you're going to see a beautiful square with like a misty white light, and there's going to be pink light and compassion that's going to help push you through that beautiful square of light, and it's going to pop you out the other side. And I just want you to visualize you are this ball of energy. This white light is just moving through the atmosphere. It's going to keep moving. It's going to keep going up, up as high as it can go. You just want to keep going as high as you can possibly go until you feel that your whole body is just basically feeling quite relaxed and heavy now. So basically your consciousness is in the 7th plane of existence. This is where Creator exists. And this is where we can access all of the infinite information that we have always readily available to us. This is what's going to help us be in flow and be connected. So I want you to be aware now that your body can just feel really heavy and relaxed, and that this energy is one and the same, that you are this energy and this energy is you. And as you drop this energy back into your body and your heart chakra, through your crown, through your throat, back into your heart, I want you to visualize this ball of energy moving down to your tailbone. And I want you to imagine that your tailbone is growing like a tail. It's growing out of your back and it's going to move down into the earth. And I want you to see it planting into the ground, and it's going to just move down to the core of the earth. It's going to keep you really planted and really grounded. And then imagine that that tail is now going sideways on both sides, both directions, like the roots of a tree, so that your body is, your tailbone and your physical body is absolutely rooted into the ground. So you feel completely stable, completely safe, and completely rooted. And I want you to imagine bringing up all of the amazingness that the earth has to offer. So pulling up all of the nutrients, the minerals and vitamins, everything that your body might need. So pulling up magnesium and some zinc and vitamin D, even though that's from the sun, it's still going to penetrate into the ground, vitamin E, vitamin B12s. You're going to pull that up into your body. We're also going to command now that all of your hormones are balanced and raised to the optimum levels for yourself. We're going to command that the Creator levels out all of your hormone levels, and we're going to up your serotonin and balance any RNA and DNA within your systems. We're basically just going to command and ask the Creator to help your bodies function at the most optimum for yourselves, and anything where your body is lacking, that is raised, and anywhere that your body has too much of something that is lowered, just enough that it's not going to shock your system, but enough that your body is able to focus and manage that. Basically, we just want your body to be working in the highest and best for yourself. So I just want you to feel now and really just accept all of these balances and these downloads now. Feel them drop into your heart space and into your body. And as you feel yourself really relaxed, knowing again that you're extremely rooted into the ground, pulling up all of the vital nutrients and minerals that you need, and that you're able to command this into existence as is needed. Beautiful. All right, so now we are really beautifully grounded and we are rooted into the Earth's atmosphere. This is when the best of the best happens with our activations. So the real focus for me today for you guys was really all about dropping into your awareness and dropping into your spaces. So anything that I say now in terms of clearings, if you want to accept that and you want that to be a reality for you, you simply just have to say yes to yourself in your head or out loud, and it is done. So anywhere in your life where you constantly have resistance, anywhere in your life where you have the belief or the idea in your mind that everything is just too hard, anywhere in your life where you're feeling overwhelmed, stress and fear, that it ends up affecting your body and it stops it from working optimally and flowing in its optimum health and abundance. We're going to, with your permission now, we're going to remove and release this. We're going to send it back to the Creator's loving light, big mist of compassion. And we're going to download. So any download you want to accept now, just say yes out loud or to yourself. We're going to download the virtues of compassion. We're going to download the virtues of trust in self, trust in Creator, trust in your connection and your inner guidance. We're also going to download the knowingness of how to speak your truth and the knowingness of what your truth is. So even though the group collective, there's a lot of fear-based things going on, but the more that we can raise our own consciousness and be really consciously aware of what's going on in this world and really dropping into what does that feel like for me? What is my truth? So, you know, what truth is for me and how I know what truth is, it's when it feels light. When anything feels heavy, that's usually always, to me, that is all about, that's, you know, a lie or an untruth. So anything that I'm saying where it feels light to you and that's your truth, just accept that and allow that to drop into your existence. So anywhere in this lifetime where you know how to speak your truth, you want to know how to speak your truth, you know what your truth is, that your throat chakra is wide open and that speaking your truth is easy, that knowing your truth is easy, that you are not forced into, that you know that you have the ability within yourself to not be forced into doing anything that is not your truth, that you know how to live your life every day in your truth, showing up in your truth, speaking your truth, and being your truest version of who you are. So let's download that now. Let's bring this into your existence and make this a part of your everyday life and beingness. So if you accept these downloads, just say yes. I just ask the Creator of all that is to show me. It is done, it is done, it is done. Thank you. Whew. So I get like chills down my body when I'm activated and when things are dropping in. Okay, so amazing. So I've also just tested and our group consciousness is sitting at a 7, which is pretty amazing. That's usually its empowered choice. So that's really where we want to be sitting. We want to be moving up to 8 or 9, which is, you know where you're at, you know what your purpose is, and also knowing that you can make the right choices for yourself. So anywhere in your life where you feel like you doubt yourself and you don't necessarily know what the right steps are in moving forward in your life, or that if you feel like you need to justify yourself to yourself or to other people, anywhere in your life that comes up and that doesn't serve you, let's destroy and uncreate that now. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and puck, or 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh, that's actually a really big one for a lot of us. So anywhere in our lives where we feel like we need to be something other than who we are, or we need to show up in a way in life that is going to serve everybody else but not ourselves. Anywhere in life where that shows up and anything that brings up, let's destroy and uncreate that now. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, or 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So basically, just so you're aware, I'm using a mix of Theta and access consciousness. So access consciousness is all about the clearing statement. So I burp a little bit when I'm clearing stuff for people. So I'm not being rude. It's just the energies that are moving and releasing through your bodies. So every time we do this work, it's helping us all shift on a group conscious level. It's not just individual, it's also so much more than that. So anywhere in your life where fear is your driver, where fear stops you from making a decision that you really want to make, or having a conversation that you really want to have, or letting go of dis-ease in your body that is controlling you, let's destroy and uncreate that now. So anything that brings up, let's destroy and uncreate that now. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So just remember that anything that I'm bringing up, if you want to destroy and uncreate it, you just say yes, either out loud or in your head, and the activation is locked in. So anywhere in your life where you are fearful of making the wrong mistake or fearful of, you know, making the wrong decision, I think it's remembering that there is no such thing as a wrong choice or a wrong decision, because we always have choices. Life is all about choices, and we have infinite abundance and possibility to make choices, whatever the choices are. So whenever we're feeling stuck, like we don't have any other option or any choice, and we don't have any way out, anything that brings up, let's destroy and uncreate it now. Yes, if you want to accept that. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, or 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So I think, again, it's about stepping into knowing that when we have the ability to shift perspective, so the more we step into our consciousness, our higher consciousness and our higher selves, and we remove these layers of these beliefs that we've taken on a group conscious level or from our lineages, and anywhere where we take on this stuff that's not ours, and that becomes the driver. So we're then removed because we're no longer the driver in our lives. Anywhere that we have consciously or unconsciously accepted a group conscious belief that doesn't serve us, and anything that brings up, we destroy and uncreate it now. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, or 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So anything where you feel that you can't make empowered choices, or you can't make empowered decisions for yourself, where you have given your power away because you have decided that something that you have been told is the truth. So it could be that this might not sit with everybody, but that you have like a life-threatening disease and there's absolutely no other option but one way. Anywhere that there's a part of you that believes that there might be another option for you, that there might actually be a different truth, a different reality, a different outcome, but the general society or the conscious belief tells you that that's not the case. And on some level, you've accepted that as truth when you know that it's not. Anything that brings up, we destroy and uncreate all that, please. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Well, these are actually some really big clearings. So anybody else watching, if there's anything in particular that really coming up for you that you would like to shift through that I haven't touched on yet, please send me a message, or Mana or Gary, is there anything else in particular that's really been kind of bothering you, that's sort of been standing in the way of you really stepping into your truth and your power?
I guess just the stuff that I mentioned before to you.
Yep.
So just, you know, obviously not having that clearness in my own mind as to what's the best and what's not the best.
So what do you think's actually standing in the way of you knowing your truth?
Judgment.
Okay. So anywhere in your life where you feel like you're going to be judged wrongly, or that you judge yourself for not making the right decision, or not showing up in the way that you think you should or that others perceive that you should. So anywhere in your life where, and anything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Judgment's a big one. So the more we step into consciousness, the more we can release ourselves from judgment of self, judgments of others, and judgments of perceived ideas and perceptions of what we think other people should or shouldn't be doing. So this is a really interesting one that's been coming up a lot, especially in Access Consciousness, is about when we can remove judgment, we're really free. It's very, very freeing, because you're now no longer in a stuckness or a space of like right or wrong, because there is no right or wrong, right? Because you're always making choices. So the more you can align yourself with affirming that I'm making this choice, I'm making a choice, I'm making a choice based on, again, what feels light and what feels heavy. So if you're in a situation where you feel like a little bit divided and you're not entirely sure which way to go, drop back into what feels light and what feels heavy for me, because that in itself is your truth. Yeah. So what else is there in this? So this is a good one, because judgment is something that we all tend to have done a lot when we're not working from a conscious space. So anywhere that we allow ourselves to show up in life in the versions of what other people expect us to be, or how we should, or how they perceive us to be, or how they expect we should behave or react, and anything that brings up, we'll destroy and uncreate that now. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Anything else on that? Because that was a good one. No,
That's pretty perfect, actually.
Yeah. So I think there's just more work for you to do there to unravel what you're like, where you're judging yourself and where you're allowing judgment of others to really give your power away, so you're not making choices. But what I'm really hearing for you is the more you can just like, when things are coming up, drop into, is that heavy or light? And, you know, really gauging what that feels like for you. It's going to be a lot easier for you to make empowered choices, because it will then flow. So, you know, I guess you probably, again, you've noticed in life, when things are difficult, when things don't flow, when things don't move with ease, it's because we're, you know, that saying of pushing shit uphill. If it's hard and there's so much resistance, well, you've got to question, why is there so much resistance? Because it's not in your heart best. So I think through this work, what I've learned the most is that creator, because for lack of a better word, you can kind of believe in whatever you want to believe in, but creator of all that is energy. We are creator is us. Just wants what's in our highest and best. So our higher self just wants us, whatever is in our highest and best. So that's that gauge of the more we're dropping into what's light for me, what's heavy for me. When I'm dropping into what's light for me, it's because it's what's in my highest and best. And when I'm faced with resistance, it's because there's something else out there, or there's something better. And it might not be my perception of how I wanted things to be, but it's, you know, again, trusting in that inner guidance, because it is in my highest and best, and it's going to get me the more of the desired outcome that I've been asking for. So Gary, is there anything specifically with you? Like, I know you've got a lot of stuff going on, but as we've been talking, is there anything specifically that jumps out for you that you're like, oh, this keeps coming up for me? Like you keep seeing like a recurring pattern in your life in either behavior or things that just kind of keep happening that you're like, I'd really love to shift that. Hang on, you're muted. You've got to unmute.
There we go. For me, I think, my situation, so a lot of health issues, been going along for 5 years now. Work is extremely stressful. Relationship issues, I seem to have recurring problems there. And the same thing seems to eventuate with different people I've been with.
So what's the pattern there? Because there's obviously like there's a lesson there that's meant to be learned and something that's meant to be shifted and released. So if I can even just shift that slightest little bit of perspective and resistance there, so that you don't have to keep basically running your life on this merry-go-round, or like I just see about the hamster wheel, you just keep going round and round in circles and not getting anywhere fast.
Yeah, I think the pattern's sort of commitment from my end, due to health issues and running the companies. I just
So what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling, and what's dropping in is your escapism, or your if I don't fully commit, I'm not committing to you because I've got health issues or it's work. Like, they're just excuses, right? They're excuses as to why you can't fully commit.
Yeah.
But what I'm actually hearing is that it's really all about the worthiness. So if we could remove and release from you anywhere in your life in this lifetime, indicate change. So this lifetime, history, genetic, core. Okay. So this stems from, this is a core lifetime belief that has been stuck to you, or that you've brought through from. So cores like seven, many years ago. So you've brought this back, you've brought this through with you. So if we drop into your consciousness and we take you back to this core lifetime, so I just want you to drop into this. Like, I don't know how easy this is going to be for you, but I'm here to kind of guide you. So there's no right or wrong. I just want you to drop into the energy of this core lifetime. So in this core lifetime, do you get a particular feeling? Does like a thought pop into your head just instantaneously of something like that you're like, well, that's strange? Or how are you feeling? Are you feeling something different that you may not have been feeling before? This is still new work for a lot of you, so it's not always easy to just know. So there's no right or wrong. Is there anything that drops in for you here?
It's a sense of failure in some respects.
Okay.
It's yeah, I sort of have the why me attitude with a lot of things that have happened. Out of my control.
The feeling is that's from this lifetime. In the core lifetime, there's quite a lot of restriction around my throat. So that in this time and space around this core life, I actually think that it had a lot to do with you were quite wealthy and you lost everything. And in that time and space, with losing everything, you created obviously this belief and, dropped into this space of like, well, I've completely failed. You've given up on life. And, that it's that complete defeat. So if you...
I've lived for years, yeah.
Yeah, so because this is a core belief, right? So this is something that's come through from lineages after lineages. This is what's so amazing with this work. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you just to visualize best you can that you're back in this core lifetime, and this particular core lifetime in this lineage has literally been defeated. You've lost everything. But there's a lesson that's been learned in this. So if you could kind of drop into this space, what's the lesson that you would have learned in this lifetime from losing everything? So say Creator wants you to learn a lesson. What would that lesson be?
Just I've rebuilt into a stronger person now, and
Okay, so the lesson was you've learned how to reestablish yourself. You've learned how
correct.
you learnt the tools of never giving up, of resilience, of, you know, digging your way out of a tunnel, in a sense, you know, finding your way back on your feet and moving back towards the light. So let's imagine that we're going to unhook yourself from this time and space reality. We're going to send all of the hurt and the trauma, so like, you know, this feeling of complete desperation, this feeling of being a failure, this feeling of not being good enough, of not amounting to anything. We're gonna send all of that back to the Creator's loving light, because we don't need to keep that trauma locked in our systems any longer. And we're going to bring forward all of those amazing lessons that we've learned. So we've learned how to be resilient, and, you know, how to be resourceful and how to recreate ourselves. That's a pretty amazing, amazing lesson. So anyone else listening, you can also take in these downloads of, I know how to recreate myself. I know how to be resourceful. I know how to find my niche. I know how to create something magical. I know how guided I am. I know how to tap into my unique guidance system. I know how to ask for divine guidance, receive divine guidance, and instill divine guidance into my daily life. Oh, yeah, that's a big one. But knowing again how to rebuild from nothing, and also having the virtues that I am good enough, and I'm good enough to keep what I have built, and I am deserving enough to build an empire that I'm proud of and maintain and keep my empire, that I know I'm worthy of great success and abundance. And I know what it feels like to have abundance of all kinds from the Creator's perspective, definition, and understanding. So if you accept these downloads, please say yes. And we'll ask the Creator of all that is now to download these into your being and your existence. And so specifically for you, Gary, we're bringing forward all of those valuable lessons that we learnt from that lifetime, that core lifetime, but everyone else that's listening and watching, any of those downloads that we've just downloaded and you've said yes to, you've also gotten those and accepted those into your existence. So we've basically now healed a core trauma lifetime. We've now healed a core trauma. We've healed that pain. So you don't need to continue cycling this through into your life. So I mean, there's going to be so many layers and so many facets that are going to be attached to this, but, you know, anything that shows up in our lives is simply showing up in our lives because it is a way of, I guess, showing us where we need to shift a perspective, or we need to shift a belief that's attached to that doesn't serve us. So I also want to shift a group conscious belief that is all around fear. I am driven by fear, and fear is how I make my decisions. And anywhere and anything that brings up on any level, time, space, reality, would you destroy and uncreate that now, please? Don't forget to say yes. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, or 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. In anywhere, in any lifetime, in any space, time, reality where I have been made to feel shameful or been shamed for having my own thoughts, for living in my consciousness, for accessing my truth, for knowing my truth. So anywhere, on any lifetime, in any generation, or any contract or any oath, or any contract or any oath that we have signed that stops us from really knowing what our truth is and stepping into our truth and being able to make decisions for ourselves based on our truth. So anywhere in any lifetime where we have signed any contracts or oaths that stop us from doing this, let's destroy and uncreate that now, please. right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, or 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And we also want to rescind, recount, reclaim, denounce, and just destroy and uncreate all contracts, oaths, fealties, and communities on this lifetime or any lifetime that keeps us stuck in fear and keeps us stuck from being able to move into making the right decisions for ourselves and knowing what our truth is. And anything that brings up on any levels, we destroy and uncreate that now, please. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock, or 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew, okay, so that's feeling pretty good. How's everyone feeling? You actually
Good.
feel a lot lighter, Mana. Like I can actually see your like conscious face and your energy has shifted. This stuff, even you too, Gary, I can see it in your face. It just doesn't look so tight and tense. This work is incredible, and this is why I wanted to share it with you all. So, you know, if you haven't experienced this kind of work before, I think the best way to kind of know what it's all about is to experience it. So yeah, that's I feel like I'm just going to energy break that now. But is there any particular questions? I've got my starseed oracles and I've got my angel answers. Or a pendulum. My pendulum is really good for yes or no's if you have specific questions that you might like answered that you're not entirely sure of. And on Facebook, if you've also got any specific questions, I am happy to answer a couple before we finish for this evening. Otherwise, I'll just pull a couple of cards and just see what comes out for the group.
Yeah, I'm happy to listen.
Okay.
At the moment, yeah.
Mana?
I guess if you can have a little look and see that from now on till the end of the year, will things fall into place?
Well, I hear a yes already.
Yep.
Things fall into place for Mana. Yes. In general, yes. I'll pull an angel card really quickly as well. This jumped out at me. You're ready. So does that
Beautiful.
resonate with what you're kind of thinking?
Yeah, because it's almost like year by year, you know, it's just little things like, okay, I'm going to declutter or I'm going to do this today. Something else will just jump in the space and distract me from what needs to be done. And then it's almost been a constant.
Yeah.
And it's like someone's always jumping in, someone or something is always jumping into the space of what I consciously need to be doing.
Okay, so what I'm hearing there, it's all about boundaries. You're needing to enforce stronger boundaries for yourself, and we need to remove the guilt that's attached to you around being able to prioritize yourself and not feeling guilty around being able to say, well, actually, no, now doesn't work for me. I mean, some things are out of your control, but I do feel that there are a lot of times where you could have said no, but you didn't because you felt guilty. And again, that's all about taking back your power, taking back your control and going, well, no, actually, I've prioritized this for myself and I am important. But what I'm hearing is this is a belief that you've actually brought down, I think, from your mother's side, that you have just taken on. So, you know, I think this is a lineage thing from her ancestors that all the women just took on. That's what the women did, and you just did that. But you know, so it's nearly like I'm not deserving of, or, you know, like my time's not important. And then there's that guilt that's attached to that. So this is where we can definitely dig into that a little bit more and do some more releasing specifically around those sorts of things, so that one, we release those contracts and those vows, and also the lifetimes where, you know, heal those beliefs where, you know, being a woman has certain duties and all of those sorts of things, because I think that's what's really happening for you there. Because and you're constantly being tested constantly being tested to kind of, are you going to have a different answer today? You're going to show up in a different way? You're going to break this pattern, or you're just going to continue to fall back into what is? So yeah, that's what I can see happening there.
Thanks.
So I'm just going to do one last read on, see if I can just get something like on a group conscious. I actually really love these cards. These are the Starseed Oracles. Let's see what we have. Great savoring. The first one is all around Hirith, longing for home, homesick for the stars. So again, group consciously, which is really all we've been talking about tonight, is that the group conscious, we're either elevating in a conscious way. So we've got all of us spiritual people that are even remotely spiritual, like really stepping into that elevation. There's been group conscious elevation happening. So, if you've been feeling particularly tired or like a little bit off kilter in the last kind of weeks or two, especially since this solar eclipse, it's been extremely intense, and there's been a lot of unraveling for anyone that has any like level of consciousness going on. We're being called to really step into our soul selves, because I think this time more now than ever, which is again why we did this tonight, is really calling for consciousness. So I'm going to read what this card means, because I really do love the meanings behind them, in case I've missed something. If I can find it. Hirith is a Welsh word that's difficult to translate, but refers to a certain longing or homesickness, a yearning for home or a place to which you cannot return. The unexplainable, unshakable longing for home is common in starseeds or old souls, perhaps you've had since birth. For some, it's a distant memory of a planet, galaxy, or a star system in the universe that their soul remembers or yearns for, a place they may have experienced more than Earth. For others, it's longing for unity of source, a remembering of interconnected oneness. So again, like that's sort of all about each of us being able to step back into our truth, our soul selves. Like, again, I think we're being called back to that. And with everything that's going on in the world, one, we've got more time to be able to reconnect, but also two, I believe that with what's happening, we're being forced into a new way of being, because it's either you have to make a decision. You're either going to be a soul-centered human, or you're going to be, for lack of a better word, a robot. So that's kind of what I feel is happening here. So if you're yearning for home, but you're not really sure where home is, you're being invited to remember that your soul chose to be on Earth. You're being called to fully commit to embodying your life. You're being reassured that you didn't come here alone, and your soul consciously decided to experience what it is like to be soul human body in this planet. So you're choosing this existence. So that's something I think that's been really unveiling a lot for me, is we choose this existence, we choose this life, we've chosen this life, and being human, as hard as it can also be pretty bloody amazing. And there's things we can do because we've got bodies that if you were just a soul, you wouldn't be able to. So you're being called to anchor in all your presence, your personality, your soul and your spirit in the here and now, to fully commit to living this life right now, to commit to putting 2 feet completely in. So again, that's really all about being in the present moment. Consciousness is about the here and now. As humans, we tend to want to live in the past and we want to live in the future. The past has happened, the future isn't here yet. All we truly have is right here, right now. And the more we can embrace this moment and being in self rather than running from self all the time, the happier you'll actually be. But the great severing, this will be interesting. 72. all about shadows and shadow cards and shadow selves. This is all coming up a lot lately. The great severing. This shadow card, one may feel confrontational. Don't be afraid. It's here to bring up to the surface anything that's standing in the way of letting in love. So this has been a really big process for me as well in this last couple of weeks of literally allowing all of who I thought I once was to be, binned, moving out of my own way, and really allowing my heart to crack wide open, to allow myself to feel absolutely everything, good, bad, and the ugly, so that I can really truly have an amazing human experience. And I feel like this is what's being called in for a lot of people. It's the worrying planet of Mars is our constant reminder that it is important to soften, forgive, find our way back to love. So keeping all of these barriers up around ourselves, although it might feel like we're protecting ourselves, we're really standing in our own way of true happiness. There are many things in the human experience that make it difficult for our heart and soul to stay open to the never-ending source of love. We're all wounded, and our unconscious wounds inflict wounds on others, which is so true. Hurt people, and never intentionally. Well, not all. I'd say most of the time, never. It can feel like a never-ending dance we can never escape. If we aren't careful, before long, we'll see the world as a scary, dangerous place where fear and anxiety roam free. If this card surfaces, it could be for two reasons. Firstly, for you to acknowledge the difficult emotions, situations, conflicts, wounds, and fears that are causing your pain and anxiety. So again, these things come up, they trigger us so that we can move through them, so that we can release them. So again, the more I do this work and I'm triggered, I'm now in the question, why am I triggered? What can I remove and what can I release from my existence now so that I'm not being triggered by these experiences? So being triggered is really a good thing. We want to actually drop into, why is this triggering me? When we hurt, it's normal to close off our heart to the world, to let the painful experience confirm the agony of separation in earthly life. Soften and find your way back to love anyway. When fear, anxiety, and paranoia paralyze you, it's normal to want to hide away from others in the world. Come out of your cave and soften your heart anyway. We're all innocent children spinning our way around the world. Find ways to see innocence in all people, especially yourself, which I think is a big one because we're always hardest on ourselves. And I think it's all about having compassion for what life has thrown at us, but what can we see and how can we show up differently? Earth pulsing, I've only got two more. 58. Slow down. Well, isn't that this is beautiful? A mysterious pulse is woven through all of life. The planet itself has rhythm. You can see it in the seasons and the tides. In our world of artificial lighting, long working hours, and modern convenience, it's easy for us to feel stuck and off kilter. It's time to reconnect with nature and surrender to the pulse of Earth. Earth pulsing is my favorite tool for surrendering to the rhythmic pulse of Mother Earth and the entire universe. So many of us are disconnected from the land beneath us. Somewhere along the way, a severing happened, a moment when it became too painful to stay connected. So generally what a lot of us tend to do, especially if you are like a starseed or someone who's quite sensitive, when things get a little bit too hard, you tend to just want to leave. Like you leave your body, you kind of tune out. You just sever yourself from yourself because it's a coping mechanism. You basically disassociate yourself with yourself to cope. But again, through these tools, the more we can stop that disassociation, it just becomes easier. So we look to other people and the external world to fill the void of connection, holding and belonging once given to us by Earth. Taking, clutching, conquering, longing for others to receive us fully, as Mother Earth once did. Forgetting that she's still here, waiting for us to remember and activate the parts of us that longs to receive her embrace. So this really, for me, resonates that so many of us just feel so alone and so isolated and so like nobody can see us, nobody cares, and that we're doing life on our own. And that's not the case at all. I think the reason so many of us feel that way is because we're always looking to outside like external things to fulfill us. When we connect back with nature and we connect back with self, that we actually can give ourselves all of what we're wanting. And then you'll actually find you have a lot more fruitful relationships as well, because you're feeling a void within yourself. You're not looking for somebody else to do that for you. So when you're constantly connected with the earth, so again, walking with no shoes on is an amazing way to ground yourself and soak up that earth's atmosphere. Or like that exercise we did this morning, where not this morning, just before, where we literally anchor ourselves into the earth. That's also another really good way to energetically anchor yourself and pull that earth's energy through you. Yeah, so you're able to drink from her sweet waters and release what no longer serves you. Stagnant energy falls away and you become connected to all things that is the planet. So connecting with the earth as much as you can is a really, really great way to get back into yourself. So the last one for tonight is star ancestors. Choose this one, or the pyramids. That also keeps popping up a lot lately. Lost wisdom. Look a little deeper. The ancients knew much more than we do about our connection with the stars. Their pyramids, temples, and other places of worship created in precise alignment with the stars, existing in all corners of the world. If this ancient wisdom is available for you to uncover now, you're being called to think and listen with your ancient heart and soul, to tap into the part of you that remembers and knows all ancient secrets and whispered forever in your ears. All mystic knowing blooms in your heart, a potent power pumps through your veins. You're being invited to step into your ancient knowingness. So again, this work is really all about removing yourself from yourself, so that, well, I say self from self, but ego from self in essence, so that more of your soul self can drop back in. When you're being invited to step into your ancient knowingness, to be held by the remembering of the star ancestors, to look a little deeper. If you're feeling stuck, you're being called to do something different, to change your point of view. So perspective is huge. Creativity happens when we put together two things that don't belong, when we do the unexpected. So often a creative solution is right in front of us, but because we think the same thoughts and act the same way, we miss what's in the opening. So I've been using this saying a lot: nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. But sometimes you literally physically need to change your existence, and you need to pull the rug from under you or somebody else to get a different reality. Because until you start to do that, you can't often see, how can I change my perspective, or how can my life show up for me differently, or how can I show up differently for my life if everything remains the same. So again, I've just been on this huge big journey, and I'm happy to share more with you about it if you want to know. So you're here to remember and uncover ancient secrets and transmissions, technology and wisdom that are so needed on this planet right now, which is why we're all here, and we're being called to do this work because we are needed more than ever. To unlock your soul's memories of a time when we lived in harmony on earth and one day will again. So again, like, that's the perfect card to end this, because it's so poignant around calling in all of our soul families so that we can all rise up together. And I do think there's going to be like a great divide. We'll have like our soul families going in one direction, and then everyone else that's choosing to go in that another direction that's left will go in that direction. So, I mean, that's it for me tonight. I have so much gratitude and thanks for you all being here and allowing me to help these shifts with you. I am going to post on Facebook. I'm going to offer $100 off a session, either a package or an individual session, whichever you feel called to. So I will add on Facebook a link. I would love to have a chat with you first before we book in, to figure out which is going to be the best route for you, because this is such an individualized sort of service. Some people do really need to commit to a couple of sessions to really get the maximum results, because it is like peeling back the onion and there are so many facets to us. So again, it's been an absolute pleasure and honor. Thank you all for holding space, and I am going to aim to do this at least once a week moving forward. So I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.